Hello, hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Rant Bollox. And so close to the last episode as well. You know, we're on a roll here, 2 in a row.
Yes.
But it's good
Winning.
to be back. Winning, yes. Double team. What was that? Wasn't that a movie by Dennis Rodman? Was it Double Team? Was it called Double Team?
It was Van
Dennis
Damme, wasn't it?
Rodman and Van Damme as well. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was the one where he played twins.
that's right. Yeah,
I think Rodman
That's a pretty
had
good
one
film
film
as well.
like that too as well.
yeah. I just seem to remember him doing something.
I love the way that's just like a word salad kind of game now when you want to make one of those generic action movies like Danger, Target, Hard Metal, that kind of shit. It's great.
Yep. They work though, you know, and then you got that cheesy kind of front cover to it as well, where they're like crossing arms or back to back or something.
Yeah. Blood Fire.
How's the week been, man?
It's been great. The West Coast is so much better than the East Coast, so your life must be shit.
I hear you got some nice weather going over there.
Yeah, it's like 15 degrees, and now tomorrow it's going to be 20.
Yeah, I heard about the 20. That's going to be good, man.
It's going to be crazy.
Prepare
It's
for it 'cause
March.
it's going to be raining. It's going to be raining for the next 3 months for you as well, though.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't care about that.
Yeah, we've finally some of the ice over here has started to melt, so now we've got flooding. But no, things are good. Yeah, we had. Also I've got to say Happy St. Patrick's Day. You know,
Yeah, that's true. Today's Paddy's Day. Or
We gotta say
Patty's
that, yeah.
Day, as some people
I
call
mean
it.
technically it's Paddy's week in a way. Like people were starting on Friday, weren't they? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just an excuse just to drink 3 days in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, we have to go to an Irish bar to drink. It's like, not really, but you go ahead. If it makes you feel better.
Did you celebrate being an Irishman? Do you celebrate or?
I was out on Friday
It's not
because
really,
my friend was over, but
So.
we didn't go like out because it was Patrick's weekend. We were actually out, and we saw this queue outside of a bar, and we're like, it's 8 o'clock. What the hell's going on? And then we saw another queue and another queue, and we're like, oh, it's St. Patrick's weekend. Didn't even think about it.
We forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of our buddies, he always jokes. He's like, I'm always like, did you go out on St. Paddy's Day? And he's like, it's the only day that the Irish doesn't drink.
Yeah. It's illegal. You can't do it. But
Yeah.
it's a proper holiday in Ireland. Like, they've got a long weekend, so they've tomorrow off work. It's a bank holiday, as they call it.
Oh, that's great. That's good.
Yeah, but here it's just
they
like,
do.
yeah, it's an Irish thing. Let's go out and drink.
Yeah. There is a province in Canada that does it. Is it Newfoundland?
It's probably, Newfoundland or Nova Scotia,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. They do it. They get the day off. So good for them. And then as we're boxing fans, Taylor was fighting on Friday, so she was fighting on the St. Patrick's weekend,
yeah.
and she won. So she was fighting in, I believe, Philadelphia. Really, really good match. She won a belt for it as well. So
She's one fight away from being the undisputed, unified champion.
yeah, it's sweet. It's awesome to see. She's a great fighter. She's really exciting to watch. And it's great that she's bringing, like, boxing kind of had like a big low in boxing just for views and stuff. Never mind heavyweight or whatever. Like Mayweather was kind of boring, and so was Klitschko. And now it's kind of on the rise again. But it's great. It's on the rise for women boxing as well. You know.
Yeah,
And
it's
and
definitely
she's fighting.
big deal.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she'll be fighting on June. Oh, well, it looks like she'll probably be fighting on June the 1st with Anthony Joshua. So I know that we have a lot of US kind of listeners. So your guy is kind of like Wilder, and then you've also got this Big Baby guy who is big. His name is Big Baby,
Yeah.
but it's I think it's Jared Miller. So that's who Anthony's going to fight. So you're going to see a big one at Madison Square Garden, June the 1st. That's going to be sweet. And then it looks like Taylor, this Irish woman, who is from your hometown. Is that
Yeah,
right?
she's from the town I
Yeah.
grew up in. I know she fights with guys I know, or my brother knows them, and like he's telling me about how the boxing, the love of it is there now, and everyone watches her fights. But there's also, like you said, there's this boom in women fighters going to the gyms now, and they're lethal because To me, it reminds me kind of like Ronda Rousey. If you know, like UFC, Ronda Rousey kind of dominated for a long time, and then she was overtaken. And I think what happened was she was the best in a limited field of women, so there had been no like training camps or any development. So when she came in with this background and really good grappling and getting arm bars and stuff, she was ahead of everybody else. But it didn't take long for everybody to catch up, and now the women's field in UFC is just crazy because you get this passing of the knowledge real quick. Like all the struggles it takes for somebody to get to the top, they can just be like, all right, just don't do this, don't do this, and they can, you know, save the next person 6 months to a year to 2 years of training.
Yeah.
So all these women now that are starting in like Bray and in Ireland and around the world, they're getting all the benefits of like the people who are trailblazing, and like Katie Taylor's the first, I think, big name that's kind of broken out and has this level of talent that's just above everybody else in the division.
Yeah, for sure. Because she was whoever she was fighting on Friday was unbeaten as well, and she just kind of took her apart,
just schooled her,
and it was
8 rounds, and just
totally
boom, 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 and then the ref had to stop the fight.
Yeah, that was like just like a sweet little ending there as well. But it's like you kind of watched that and you were just thinking, yeah, there's a divide here. She's like classes above, you know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Exciting to watch.
Yeah. The only thing I think they might run into is she might be too good, and they'd be like, all right, who's even going to be a challenge for her? So I think if Katie Taylor's management's smart, what they're going to start doing is just doing the Floyd Mayweather thing of just like the undefeated champion, the unbeaten champion, and have this aura around her of like, can anyone take her down?
Yeah, I think you're right as well.
But
I think
she's not a dickhead.
Yeah. But she's not, and she's not boring either. Like that's the thing I liked about her on Friday. It's like she was clearly winning, and she could kind of just keep on doing what she was. But she went in and she wanted to fight. She wanted to go all those rounds and stuff like that, which is excellent to see.
Yeah.
So,
and you can see her getting better. Like she's improving as a fighter from like her first professional fight. She looks a little bit nervous or whatever, and she wasn't sure if she has the power. And then like just by now, she's teasing the opponent. She's judging range. She's got strength. She's got speed. Like I said, she's classes above them. So she's starting to realize how much she can do in the ring. So she's not just like struggling to win or like whatever. She knows she can win. And then it comes down to, I want to win in style, and I want to win in a way that's going to, you know, please the fans. Not like you said, the Mayweather boring style of, I'm just going to go 5 rounds defensive, and then I'm going to do a few jabs for 5 rounds, and then the last few rounds he'll be tired and I'm just going to dance around the ring.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And the fact that she's doing it in the States as well is awesome. Like, you'd think someone like that would be just in the UK and Ireland, but she's just like making a statement. And she's done a few other fights in the States as well, so she's definitely breaking that audience. And she's already well known in Europe, so she's really on a roll here. Like, because the States is usually the hardest thing to do, which is what Anthony Joshua is going to try and do on June. So yeah, she's just like all the cards are in her hand. She can do what she wants. So
I'm gonna hopefully we can sort it out. Maybe we can do a live streaming commentary during the fight night.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet, actually. That would be a Saturday, wouldn't it? June the 1st.
Yeah.
So that would be, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other great fights on that card as well.
Yeah. It's one of those things of when you get somebody as big as Joshua, that you kind of want to stack it. But, you know, boxing's weird like that. Sometimes they don't really promote anybody else. They have a bunch of nobodies, but I think they've learned from the UFC model that you've got to have something to bring people in from the first fight to the last fight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And some of these other fighters, like, they're up and coming and stuff, and they've got good personalities. And so you kind of, if you're going to pay for the card, or if you're watching it on DAZN like we do, you're like, well, this is on for a good chunk. Who are these guys that are starting off the fights? This, you know, because I wasn't into Taylor before, but then I watched like 3 or 4 of her fights. I'm like, right, I'm invested. I love her now. So it's the same thing with these other guys. You might not know them, but you watch a couple of them and then you're like, oh yeah, this guy's great. And it's and to be able to say, oh, I've seen that guy from like his 3rd fight, you know?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I remember when he started off and he was not
Yeah.
so good or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to bring up one thing because I don't follow him as much as what's happening with McGregor.
As far as I know, the behind the scenes thing, there was rumors that he was going to fight Cowboy Cerrone. And
Okay, I don't know who that is.
he's a good fighter. Cerrone called him out and said, I want to
Okay.
fight McGregor. McGregor said, all right, name a place. And the backroom dealing is apparently that Dana White, the owner of UFC, he doesn't want to give McGregor a headline fight. Like, McGregor only wants to be the headliner. He doesn't want to be the second guy. You know, he wants to be the name on the top of the card.
Got ya.
And Dana White, first thing he's done is he apparently said no to that. He's not going to give McGregor a headline fight. He'll give him the co-headline or whatever. And then the other thing that happened 2 weeks ago was, I don't know if you saw it, George St. Pierre retired.
Oh shit! I didn't see that.
Yeah, George St. Pierre, one of the greatest fighters of all time, he retired. He auctioned off his belt, and then he gave the money, I think, to charity or whatever. So now it's in a museum, one of his belts, and he retired. But the rumor was that he wanted to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, the guy who beat McGregor last. He wanted that super fight. He wanted to come in and fight, but UFC don't want that, because if anybody knows this, they know that George St. Pierre was away for like 4 years or something, came back to the middleweight division, fought the champion, beat him, got the belt, and then, retired.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dana White again apparently put the kibosh on that and said, "You know what? I'm not going to have this guy come in, beat the best fighter in the division, and then just walk away." Like, it makes the division look weak. It makes that guy look like a sucker. And it also makes it's like kind of Georges St. Pierre has this power over the UFC where he can come and go as he pleases. And Dana White's got a reputation for having an ego, and, he wants to control the fighters. And I think between last year with all the shit with McGregor and all that, he's kind of trying to put the lockdown and be like, I'm in charge. I make the fights, and kind of kill that fighter power that's happening in the pay-per-views.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
it does make sense, but that means you've just lost a fight with Conor McGregor and you've lost a fight with George St. Pierre, and that's millions and millions of dollars.
Of course, but then you've got like what happened in the last fight where it all broke out in the audience, and you can't be having that either.
Yeah, and Nurmagomedov, he's barred for, I think, 9 months, and McGregor's barred for like 6 months or something.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Fines as well. Quite like some of their winnings were taken away from them and all that lot. So.
Yeah. So right now, like, the biggest name in the division is John Jones, but there's a bunch of controversy about John Jones because he took drugs, and is he still on drugs? And he tested kind of positive, but not really positive, and everyone's kind of like, they're kissing Jones's ass and letting him get away with stuff that nobody else would get away with. So
yeah.
It's just Dana. Dana wants to be in control, so that's the way it is. It's got the overtones of like boxing.
Yeah. No, I did kind of read a couple of headlines about that, and I can see, like, from all those fights that were happening and all the things with McGregor, that it was kind of going off the rails. So I can see why Dana's like, right, I got to get this back, But if you lose these big fights, like, I mean, seeing McGregor fight someone else, like, I want to see it. It doesn't particularly, for me, need to be a headline fight, but I don't know. It's if McGregor's not going to take any fights if they're not headline fights, I don't know what the heck Dana's going to do.
Yeah, but McGregor doesn't need to take any fights, so you can't force him to.
No, but didn't he sign some kind of 5-year deal or something, or 5-fight deal? Sorry.
Yeah, but it's one of those things of, if he breaks that contract, it's not going to cost him any money.
Yeah, true.
What are you doing over there? You writing a book? It feels like you're typing away this whole thing. Keeping track of me?
I'm typing this thing? No, I'm not typing anything.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just hearing things. I am going slightly crazy in my old age.
Nope. Just what was that you said? I'm just typing it out. Yeah. Have you been watching some things? Watching some shows or anything?
I haven't got much on this week, but what I did do is I started rewatching all the Marvel movies. I've gone back up because I'm trying to get ready for Endgame and Captain Marvel's next week. But yeah, I rewatched like all of them. It was like Iron Man, Thor, or not Thor, Captain America, Then it got the original Avengers, and then last night was Guardians of the Galaxy. It was, you go back and you see these movies, you're like, damn, it's really good.
Yeah. I know. There's a bunch of people, and I was going to do it for Game of Thrones, actually, just kind of because that one gets confusing with all the people and all the different kind of areas. But I was thinking about just doing a month, because it's around a month away now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
so
April 15th.
Game of Thrones and just getting it done. But the Marvel ones are great. I heard James Gunn is doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 now. He's been brought back on board.
Yeah, thank God somebody came to their senses.
I mean, I don't think that movie would have happened otherwise, would it? Or at least the fans wouldn't have enjoyed it or backed it as much.
I think Dave Bautista said he would quit if they got rid of Gunn's script.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think Gunn told Dave not to leave. Like, it's money, don't leave.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not there.
Yeah.
But then Bautista put his foot down and said, if you get rid of the director and then you get rid of the script for the guy who made the first two movies so successful, I'm going to walk.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was
that's a bold statement, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the thing that made Marvel cave. Probably not. But it's just a nice thing where people are starting to be a little bit more reasonable about this bullshit of somebody tweeted something 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. So long ago as well. That's interesting. If that would have even happened, if the film would have happened, would he have been in there? Anyway, I'm glad they resolved it. That took quite a while. I feel like that took a year.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of just smart PR of just we have to drop him and then let it cool down and then we'll bring him back and see if anybody cares. And no one cares. That's the thing that always bugs me. It's I've never understood how you get this idea of lots of people are complaining about so and so and such. And it's really? Who? What are they doing? They're tweeting? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, there's we've seen 4 tweets. You've highlighted them, but then the rest of the community don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, and they're asking for him to come back. So, yeah, that's anyway. I'm glad to see that coming back. And I understand you didn't watch the Endgame trailer.
No,
you haven't seen any trailers. Or?
I saw was it the very first one? I guess it was the very first one, the one where Tony's sitting there with the Iron Man helmet recording it, a message. Right. But that's the one that ends with Ant-Man knocking on the door.
Oh, okay, that one.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
And even that one, I was I don't like this. Too much going on here.
Yeah. I won't give anything away in a new one, but one thing I will say, two things I will say.
You shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth. I didn't get the crazy goosebumps that I did with the first one.
Right.
But the reason being, I think, is because the first film ended obviously badly for them, and Thanos is basically won, didn't he? But then
badly is a polite way of putting half your friends
badly,
are dead.
Yeah. Half the friggin' universe is gone.
Yeah.
It ended badly.
It wasn't the best way we could have gone out. Silver medal.
But what I was going to say is, so that kind of ended badly. So when they show it off in trailers, they can't really show off instantly the better side of it, So they have to. It has to be kind of doom and gloom, because it's they don't want to give away the film, So I guess that everything they're showing is just teasers and just oh, this is awful and all that lot,
Right.
So and there's no kind of pickup, in the trailer. There's always a big pickup, you see the Hulk and maybe smashes through something, and you're fuck, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
But in all of the Endgame ones, it's all just been we have fucked up and Thanos has won, and it doesn't, and it's good on Marvel. They don't want to show too much. But the one other thing, again, it's not giving anything away, is I'm pretty convinced, and I think I know the scene, that they've done more editing. You know how they do, they took the Hulk out of the
right, yeah, they'll
the trailer,
create
and
fake
they did
shit.
Thor's eye. Yeah, I'm almost positive I know the scene, and we'll discuss it once the film's out and stuff.
Cool.
But
yeah, once it's out,
scene,
I'll watch all the trailers again.
someone commented on it and it was like, oh, that thing there, and I was just like, I don't really know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love that they do that. I love that they edit those trailers, and so it's a surprise for the fans as well.
But it's also one of those movies that's like, again, to say Marvel's great and DC's shit, but Marvel just took this risk of this super blockbuster that ended and be like, yeah, we're not going to tell you what's going to happen. Like, even if you go back to like the last massive blockbusters of like The Lord of the Rings, the end of the Two Towers, it's kind of got like, oh, what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to go on. And you're going to have to wait a year until you find the end of the story. But the end of the Two Towers does end with like a victory. It's got the Helm's Deep thing. And it's kind of like, yay, we did it. And Gandalf came. But this doesn't end with anything to make you happy or think, oh, that's really good. I can't wait. This is just like, you fucked up.
Let's just play that sound file at the end. You fucked up.
And it's awesome that they did that. I think that you have this, what was it? $18 billion Marvel have made now with Captain Marvel. $18 billion around the world. And then they decided for their biggest, most massive movie of all, we're going to make everyone leave the cinema sad and depressed.
I know. That's such a bold thing to do. And like how depressing it was, kind of thing, because you just like, you've got this build up of 10 years of characters and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So
I
have
a question for you as the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. I haven't watched that either. You've watched it.
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, does that trailer fit in so it looks like it happens before Infinity War?
They don't really, so they don't say, and I know on the last podcast we mentioned that it happened. Well, we don't know when it happens, but
that's what I mean. It's just I saw somebody mention it, and I was like, I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know if it looks like it could just have happened in like the few months between Homecoming and Infinity War.
Well, here's the thing. So look-wise, it looks like it feels like it happens before, from what I can see. The only thing is with Endgame is we don't know how that is actually going to end, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's not like a
time travel
because the one thing it could be is it could be time, and then it doesn't really matter what we're watching in Homecoming because Peter Parker doesn't know what happened because of time. Yeah.
So there's no scene in the Spider-Man trailer where we go, hey Peter, remember that day everybody died?
No, but I haven't seen the trailer for a while, but I'm just trying to remember his actual costume he's wearing.
Right.
Because is it the Avenger one?
Oh, like the Iron Spider one? Yeah, with the
Yeah. Which I feel like it is. So,
okay.
But I'm sorry. We'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But just to see.
The thing also with the Endgame is like when you're trying to churn through what the endings would be, you don't want to think about it too much. But we both said it, is that you don't want it just to be travel back in time, everything's fine. Like that's it's so obvious and so cheap that it's pointless. Like there's no point in having such a great build up and then you're just like, magic stones fix everything.
I 100% agree. It's just like, please don't do that. And for a franchise that big, I can't see that happening.
No, I could see something like down the middle. Like I could see something like we can reset time, but it's going to cost, 6 people their lives, or we can reset time to this point, but so like I'm thinking, Iron Man is like, okay, I have to do this. It's like Avengers 1 where he has to go through the tunnel or whatever. He has to go and blow up the crystal or blow up the time gem. You get one chance to reset time, but everybody who's on the other side of it, is dead.
Yeah.
Solid, proper dead. So there's actual consequences. But
yeah, no, I think so as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, there has to be. I had the theory, and you helped me with it. Of like, all the people that were killed are in the soul gem, and they can come back. But it doesn't negate the fact that Thanos killed half the population. Like the world still has to deal with all the consequences of what happened when half the world disappeared.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. That yeah, it's such a huge thing to happen there. Like, how are they going to fix all of that? Is it just going to be the people that are? Well, I guess everyone is in the Soul Stone if they've all disappeared. But yeah, it's going to be super interesting, and I think it's their longest film as well.
Yeah.
So because they've got a lot to tell. So
like what I'm thinking of is the end of it's the end of Infinity War. We have Nick Cage, not Nick Cage. Yeah. Not Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
no.
Nick Cage.
Nick Fury, not Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
That would have been.
I was agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is in there. He's doing his face off, and he pulls it off, and then Nick Fury's there. But when Nick Fury's in the world, that's the very first view of what happens outside Wakanda. So if you remember that scene, you've got a helicopter crashing into an office building, car crashes. And obviously that means that there's, pilots are dying. So there's planes crashing, and they've got boats that will be, sinking, or lots of things that are going to end up with consequential deaths. Yeah, so Thanos didn't necessarily.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Thanos didn't make those people disappear, but they're going to die because he made somebody else. Like the bus driver. If a bus driver disappears and the bus goes off a cliff, all the people in that bus are dead as well, but they're not in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a good point of looking at it like that.
So I don't want it to be a time thing, because then they all come back. At the very least, you should have the people in the stone come back, but everybody that died because of the disappearance is still dead.
Yeah. And I wonder if they can do that. How does Doctor Strange's time thing work? Is it just where he kind of points it to? Like, is it just that kind of, or is it the whole world? Like, when he was turning time back in his movie, was that happening to the whole world or just that area? Because I'm wondering if it's something to do with that. Like, maybe they use that time stone, but it's more about like wherever they're fighting Wakanda.
I think the time stone can,
maybe
based on the comic books, the time stone, when it's connected to the glove, can change time across the universe. In the movies, Strange is only doing it in a very limited field. Like, he's doing it with the apple first, because it's kind of like working the magic for the first time out. But as he's doing that, the rest of the world isn't spinning back and forth, because the other guys come in, they're like, oh, what the hell are you doing? They're obviously still moving. And then with the end scene, you've got a bigger effect where he's doing it for the entire city, for where there's this breach from the other planet.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then when he's in that other planet, or in that other dimension, he's just looping himself and the demigod into this weird cycle where they're the only two that are going around and around and around.
Yeah, that was such a good scene.
Yeah, because then he comes back out, and it's only been a few seconds for everybody else.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, like, that helps things a little bit. At least they can't just be like, oh, turn back, because they're going to have to use that Soul Stone for it. But maybe they somehow turn back some kind of time or some event, but within where they are with Thanos. Maybe it's like they go back to Wakanda and do. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying that they could turn back time within a certain area with Thanos and stop something from happening that way. But,
it wouldn't be satisfying to have it not affect the rest of the movies. It'd be pointless. Like, it would really sour, I think, a lot of people that, like you said, it's 10 years of these characters, and it's like, oh, it's a magic fix, everything's fine, they win. It's like, it's not worth it. Like, you've built it up to this thing where they lost, half the universe is dead. You can't just turn that back and be like, the heroes saved the day, because that's not what people want at this point. I think they want just a little bit of consequence. And especially if you're going to kill Steve Rogers, or you're going to kill Iron Man, or you're going to kill Thor, you kind of want to be like, all right, it's been a long journey. This is how he dies. It was worth it. There was a point to him dying.
Yeah, I do agree. And I don't think they will go down a cheesy crappy time route. I don't know
No.
how they'll pull it off, because the other thing I hear is Captain Marvel has some kind of time abilities. So maybe watching that film, which I think we'll do in the next week or so, we'll find out a little bit more there.
Yeah.
So
The other thing with the whole Infinity Gauntlet issue was, if I remember in the comics, what happens is it's half the universe is gone. So it's all the alien races. So the Captain Marvel film is about the war between the Skrulls and the Kree. And what happens in the comic is Thanos makes half the universe disappear. And obviously the Earth heroes know what happened. But for everybody else, it's just this massive disappearance. And these warring worlds actually go to war because they think the other people did it. They think it was an attack.
Oh shit!
And it reignites this war between these two galactic, people and stuff. And then there's all these other knock-on effects of like kings and queens are disappearing, rulers are disappearing, there's chaos, and it seems like it's too much of a big thing for them to be like, oh, we fixed it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing
why
where you're actually hoping the heroes don't win. You're like, I don't want the heroes to win. I want it to be miserable and sad, and I want shit to hit the fan.
Well, I'm glad they're going to show. I do like that it ended obviously miserable, and I like that they're going to show. It sounds like at the beginning of Endgame quite a lot of the after effect, because I do kind of want to see those planes and the boats and stuff and how it's all gone to shit,
Yeah.
And hopefully they show you that on other planets as well, wherever else is from and stuff. So I think that will be cool, and that will really set the mood. And I can see the first like half an hour of the film being like that as well.
Yeah,
super miserable.
And if you're gonna do that, then you obviously have to like have a payoff for that. You can't just have an hour of misery and then be like, oh, that's fine, it's all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, we're switching back. Oh, we're back into the Marvel cheesy universe again.
Yeah.
So.
Let's have a joke and walk away.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is like this film isn't going to have the comedy at the beginning of it, obviously, because it's so dreary. So that'll be a bit of a change. But then the film's going to bring it all, isn't it? Because at the beginning we're going to be like so engaged, and then by the middle of it we're going to be laughing. I'm sure like the Hulk's going to be back, and he's going to be like smashing Thanos into a wall and stuff, and we're going to be like, yes, And then by the end of it, we're going to be crying because we know, someone's 2 or 3 heroes are going to be dead. So it's going to bring everything, isn't it?
Yeah. Like that's the thing with the first movie. Of like Loki is dead, and all of Asgard is dead, and you've got obviously all the heroes died at the end of it. But it's this thing of like, what was the planet? Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy planet, Nova Prime. That planet got destroyed by Thanos because he wanted the stone. So that's a planet that's already killed before he even did his great disappearance. So there's got to be a consequence. It's got to become this phase 4 has got to be this entrance of Earth into the galactic kind of like field. Like they've got to start becoming part of this bigger universe now, where you've got different planets, different alien races, and that's obviously the way they're going to go. I don't think they're going to turn back and start being like, "Here's the Red Skull, he's back again." It's like, it's got to go past Earth at this stage.
Yeah. Bring it on. Not too long to go. So
yeah, I know. Can't believe it. It's only a month.
And we'll get our Captain Marvel review up as well before, so we'll watch that, because that's obviously going to influence it big time. Looking forward to seeing what happens at the end of that, and that's getting great reviews as well, which is awesome.
Yeah. I just hope, I said it before, it's nice that they bring in a new character because they have to replace so-and-so, like Doctor Strange is replacing somebody, Black Panther's replacing somebody. They just, they can't, they can, but I doubt they're going to do the simple thing of like, Captain Marvel, strong enough to win the day. It's like,
yeah. I know she's supposed to be by far the most powerful Avenger, but they've got to equal it up. They've got to be like, this guy gets his time, this guy gets his time.
Yeah.
And then she's got to have some kind of weakness, which Thanos is going to take care of. So yeah, I've got faith in Marvel that they can do it. So
Yeah, they've earned enough good credit at this point. So you can't be too worried about what they're going to do.
well, they've already got Homecoming, and trailers for that, so they're not really too bothered, are they? Just like next film, one after this one, What is after Homecoming? Do we know? Is
They
it like
haven't.
Black
I don't
Panther
think
2
they've.
or Doctor
No, they haven't
Strange?
announced anything. They've been clever
Oh,
enough.
okay, so
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. That kind of makes sense. It's like Endgame. We don't want to announce anything because we don't want to give too much away either. So
I'm sure if you go through like a bunch of press releases, they're like Black Panther 2 is scheduled for such and such, but
yeah.
yeah, there's not a lot that they're doing apart from Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man one is the oddity because Spider-Man Far From Home, or sorry, not just Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is Sony, so it's like a cross-platform thing. Sony
Right.
and Marvel are both part of that.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of Marvel. If Marvel had their way, the only one that would have been announced would have probably been Captain Marvel, and then Endgame.
Right.
But there's not much they can do about Sony saying we want to make a movie too.
I know they'll always butt in, but at least they fixed Spider-Man. I think the last one with Electro or whatever, just like I don't know what the heck they were playing at. So.
Yeah, like we already mentioned, they've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 script, but they haven't said when that's coming out or whatever. And then you'll expect them to have a Black Panther 2 because it was so successful and so and yeah.
Do you reckon they'll do another Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I think
I'd like to see one.
Yeah, I'd like to see after what they've done with him in Infinity War and like how they expanded what magic is and how much crazier it can get. I think it'd be lots of fun to see it get really out there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they just do such a good job of like every film has its own look and feel, and like Doctor Strange when that came out, and like all the symmetry and that kind of kaleidoscope type, bringing the worlds together. Just it was just so different. And then you got like Black Panther, and that was like nice. And I'm hopefully Captain Marvel brings. Well, I think Captain Marvel's going to bring like those 80s vibes, isn't it? Because it's
90s, yeah, it's the blockbuster.
So,
but
sorry,
I think
90s, yeah.
The main thing with them is they're introducing the scrolls, shapeshifter scrolls,
right.
And that kind of like I mentioned, the galactic scope of what's happening out in the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah. And she apparently in the comics, is she born like is it Skrull or Krull or something? But is she born that way, or is she a human and then she gets those powers? I think I don't know how they've done it with the movie, but apparently there's two ways that they could do it. Like she's a human to start with, she gets injured and then they convert her. But then like I think in like the comics she already is that race or something. I don't know. Or maybe her like. Yeah.
Well, the original Captain Marvel, it's Marvel, and he's an alien. He's a Kree, so he's the Kree. Right. Those are the guys against the Skrulls, and he comes to Earth and he gets part of the. Joins the Avengers and becomes part of that kind of thing, or one of the galactic things. She was never actually called Captain Marvel. She was called Miss Marvel. So her version I think is pretty close to what's happened, is that she gets her powers from an explosion, but there's already a Captain Marvel in the universe, and it's part of him that like makes her get her powers. But in this they're just saying we're not doing the alien guy, that's just a bit too weird, we're just going to do she's the Captain Marvel version in this. The other thing that like the real comic book nerd fans would be excited about is in the comic books, do you know Rogue from the X-Men?
Yes, yeah.
And she can fly and she's super strong. In the movies of like the X-Men movies, they don't give her any of those powers. But the fans know that she got those powers by sucking it out of Miss Marvel.
Oh, right.
So her thing is that if she touches you, she can take your powers. So like you can see in the movie, she touches Wolverine and then she grows claws for a little bit, and she can get whoever she's touching, Magneto, she can touch him for a while, get magnetic powers. But with Miss Marvel, what happened was the two of them were fighting, and Rogue wouldn't let go, and she sucked it for so long. That sounds wrong. She sucked it for so long that she took all of Mrs. Marvel's powers for good, and she fell into a coma.
Hmm.
And then she came back like 10 or 20 years later, really pissed off about it. So if Disney are going to buy 20th Century Fox and they're going to get the, X-Men franchise, and they're going to try and bring the X-Men franchise in and all this, it'd be cool. But at the same time, the X-Men universe is a pile of fucking piss at this stage, and no one wants anything to do with it.
Pile of piss.
It's just so stupid at this point.
I know, like I'm not even remotely looking forward to that new film. I know we mentioned it in the last podcast as well, but just I feel like they're just doing the same storylines, just a new cast. It's basically a reboot with the younger cast, but just nothing new, nothing interesting for me.
No, and it's sad because they're wasting good actors, and they're wasting
I know,
good characters and good stories
here and stuff.
Yeah. James McAvoy, he's awesome.
I know. Both of them, and Fassbender as well.
The best thing the X-Men have done in the last 5 years is be a joke in Deadpool 2. That's it.
Yeah, you're right, actually. So,
and then Logan is obviously on a different class, and that's just like, we're not really connected to that shit anymore.
Yeah. That was like a perfect little goodbye for Hugh Jackman as well.
Yeah, and Patrick Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, and Patrick Stewart, of course, yeah. Yeah, no, that's exciting times. And then what was the other thing I was going to mention was they released the episode times for Game of Thrones, because I know we were talking about that as well.
Oh,
so I don't know
right,
if you read about that.
I didn't see that.
The first two are like 55 minutes, and then the last four are like basically an hour and a half each.
Right, cool.
So that's going to be good, like proper, basically movie lengths. So actually, I think the first two are 55. The third one is like an hour and a half, and then the last two are like an hour and 20. So the third one, they're using 10 minutes more. So shit goes down in every single one of these episodes for sure. So
yeah, it's not going to be any slow-paced episodes in this.
Yeah.
He's dead, and she's dead, and now that's on fire. Oh, now the wall's gone again. Shit.
Well, I think I mentioned it as well, but I'm creating for my work, and I'll create it for you guys as well. But we're having a little bet at work, so it's like a $5 buy-in, and you have to guess who survives, who becomes a White Walker, and who dies. So you just fill out the sheet and say, this, and that. But I'm building the sheet this week for work, so I'll share it as like a Google Doc for everyone else, just in case you want to use it for your own personal use or at work as well. But we'll have to do the little fill out the sheet ourselves, Paul, and then see how good our predictions are. The only one call out I had was technically if someone becomes a White Walker then dies, which one do you tick them under? But I think it's if they become the White Walker, that's it. If they die after whatever, you've said that they've become the White Walker. So it's either straight up they die, straight up they're still living, or straight up, they become a White Walker. So yeah, it will. I feel like I think the sheet that I had, like it had like 20, 23, 24 names on it. I feel like 4 of those people are just going to be alive, and that's it.
I think my theory is going to go into the final episode when like the Starks are nearly killed, and like Jon's getting stabbed, and Tyrion's getting killed, and like Bran is there, and he's trying to summon the crow, and he's trying to summon the magic and do his white thing and control animals and control the dire wolves, and it's not working, and there's too much danger, and the dragons are dying, and everything looks like it's lost. And then what's going to happen? Bran's going to wake up, and we're going to be back at the start.
Thought for a second you were going to say Blue Willy comes in.
It's just going to be Bran. He's going to have fallen off that tower after seeing Cersei getting banged by her brother. And we're going to wake up like later that day, and he's going to be like, I had the weirdest dream. And then I'd be like, oh, and by the way, I saw those two fucking up there. And they're like, what? Oh my God. And that's it.
I mean, someone should create a parody of that, like a little sketch. That would be friggin' hilarious.
It's just all brand stream.
I got a little shameless plug here as well. A couple of buddies and I at work created shamebell.com. So you know the scene where she's walking down the street and they're ringing the bell and they're saying shame.
Yeah.
We created a little mobile app. So if you go to shamebell.com, you can ring a bell. Ring a bell at people, your colleagues or whoever you want, and shame them. So it is live. The funny thing with this is we created it, I'd say 2 years ago, or whenever that episode happened, and we get about 5,000 to 10,000 people a month going to that site. So
5,000 to 10,000 people ashamed.
Shamed, yeah. So have some fun. Go to there. We're going to update it with a few extra features as well. But
so what is it? Shamebell.com. One word.
Shamebell.com. Yep. It's just using like some default kind of graphics right now, but we might actually update it. The actual voice is someone from our office. We originally had Cersei, but then I think for copyright we had to switch it out. So. But we're gonna update it and do some cool things, because it's an actual website as well. There's a lot of apps I think that might do it now, but the fact that you don't need to go to an app store and you can just do it on your phone, and you do have to shake your phone, it recognizes that it's got a accelerometer in it and stuff.
So it's like the proper kind of ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it's the ding ding is the exact ding ding from the show as well. So yeah. Good times. Good
shame,
times, so.
Shame.
Well, when we built it, if someone in the kitchen didn't put their dish in the dishwasher, we'd just get the app out and go shame, just follow them back to their chair. So good. The other thing that was there we go.
Shame.
Shame.
That's awesome.
The shame is quite close to Cersei as well. Like we got her to say it like 15 times. She's just like, what am I doing here? I don't think she even watched Game of Thrones, so she didn't know what we were doing.
She's like, what are you perverts making me do this for?
So good. But I think the other thing I was just going to mention on movies and TV was they brought out a second trailer for Aladdin. And they don't usually bring them out so close together, and I think it is just to kind of redeem themselves with the Blue Willy.
Yeah.
So they
got Blue Willy syndrome. They're like, we better get this out here quick.
Yeah, they're just like, let's fucking fix this, and they do. It does actually look quite good in the. Aladdin's one of the Disney films that I've seen growing up, and I quite enjoyed. So. It does look great. It visually looks awesome, and then they show a lot more of Will Smith. They show him not being blue, or while he is blue as well. So I just found that kind of funny, because a lot of people were talking about how terrible it was, and then usually at trailer 1 to trailer 2, there's like maybe a month or two in between, but this one was like 2 or 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were just like, get it out there. We don't want people talking about this shitty Will Smith. So
yeah, I think the Will Smith factor's kind of moderated now. It doesn't look quite as much like a problem, but I still have that issue of like, you're just remaking a film that is successful. They've got the whole new world song. They've got it looks great. It looks like very well done, but so did Beauty and the Beast. And it's like, I still think you're going to lose the magic once it's animated, or once you lose the animation and try and make the people do it. But maybe they learned their lesson from Beauty and the Beast. They're going to take a few more original ideas and stick it in there, because they're going to have to. They can't have Blue Willy just do what Robin Williams did, so at least that'll be different. Hopefully that'll kind of seep into the rest of the cast and the rest of the crew. But there's definitely got all the Aladdin hallmarks. They got the big cave, they've got the Jafar, looks like Jafar, they've got the flying carpet. So it's similar in a lot of the things that will draw people in, being like, oh, I want to watch this again. I just hope it's not the same experience as Beauty and the Beast, where it's like, Christ, you guys just remade this. It's just a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah, it's tricky because I feel like Disney kind of want to do that in a way, but if it's not paying off, like if Beauty and the Beast didn't pay off money wise, then yeah, I can see them changing it up. Otherwise, if it's still brought in the money, I could just see them doing that, just like reskin it basically.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like I hope they bring some more creative side to it. And then I think Will Smith taking on the genie from Robin Williams, that's such a iconic thing to take over. So he's got to do a good job. It's like the Joker, taking on the Joker, which they didn't do a very good job in Suicide Squad.
Nope.
So.
They did such a bad job. They decided to break all the rules and just there's two Jokers in different universes and Batman's now young again. Whatever.
So
just give us money.
Question. I'm just scrolling through some stuff and it just popped up now. James Gunn. I didn't even know James Gunn's doing Suicide Squad, but not 2. He's just rebooted it. That's what I just read right now.
Really?
His film is a reboot. And then I also read last week that Idris Elba is taking over Will Smith's role as Deadshot.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So, but then if it's a reboot, so it goes, what is it? James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie is a complete reboot.
Jesus.
Bad news for the fans of the original crew. So
yeah, those 5 people are going to be really upset.
There's another Joker then. Well, I mean, it's same universe, I guess, but
then you've got another fucking headache because they're making a movie right now with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in a new, it's a movie about her and it's got other characters in it, I think like maybe Catwoman or Black Canary or some other female. Poison Ivy might be in it. It's like the female bad guys are getting their own movie.
Yeah.
But that's Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad we've seen.
I know that is going to be so stupid if they have a main movie with her, but then suddenly a spin-off like Suicide Squad or whatever, different actor. That's just bad planning from them.
And they've got the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, which is apparently a different universe Joker, and there's no Batman in that universe or something. I don't know.
That is so confusing. Surely they must sit in a boardroom and say, like, guys, this isn't making sense.
No, I don't think they know what the fuck is going on. Yeah, Birds of Prey. It's coming out 2020.
Wow. I think that's probably it. They haven't all sat in a boardroom, so they're just like, what's this guy doing? I don't know. And we haven't spoken to him for a few months.
Which one made money? The Aquaman. Yeah. Give him another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Black Canary's in it. Huntress is in it.
I did hear about that, actually.
Birds of Prey. And then in brackets, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley. So it's kind of going to be a goofy, funnier, crazy movie, I guess. But it's still her getting away from being the Joker's girlfriend and breaking free and all that. But that means
I felt like
they're going to bring in stupid fucking what's his face to be Joker again.
Probably. Otherwise, that's just really stupid, isn't it? Because that's going to be way too confusing. Can you imagine if they don't?
They just recast him. Yeah, they recast him
but then in Suicide Squad, it's a different Joker as well. And then we'd have 3 different Jokers within like 2 years.
The car crash that is the DC universe is just, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, like the funny thing is with Marvel and how well they do it, it's just a stark difference. So like surely someone at DC must be like, guys, it is doable. Marvel are doing it. So it's just like, what's their formula? Let's just get in a room.
Yeah, just copy what they did.
Out. So, like, honestly, like, it's not if Marvel were fucking it up as well, which they are doing on X-Men. But if
that's not theirs, that's not their property.
No, I know, and it's but they've proven that it does work, and they can get it working because they've been doing it for 10 years. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on at DC. Marvel
are so good at it. Sony gave them the rights to make a Spider-Man movie back.
Yeah. That's it right there. That sums it up nicely, actually.
Look, we've tried this. We've tried Spider-Man, then a different Spider-Man, then a different Spider-Man. We have no fucking idea what we're doing. Can you just fix this?
And
By
then
by the way, we're making a Venom movie too.
By the way, we are. I almost feel like with the Spider-Man as well. Like obviously he's a big Avenger character, and Marvel are probably like, can we use him? Can we use him? But I almost feel like Sony are like, can you guys put him in the Avengers? Like it's doing so well. Like it was probably the other way around. Like you don't have to ask us. We want him in there.
I think after this next X-Men Dark Phoenix, Marvel have got to getting the rights back. Like everyone's just like, we can't fucking compare. We can't compete.
Yeah.
We can't make as much money by doing this, so we kind of license them back to Marvel but keep the revenues. Do the Sony model.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like I don't think they want to give up the rights. They're not going to like just give up the Hulk or give up.
No.
But they'll be like, hey, we'll do a cross promotion thing instead of trying to do it ourselves and fucking it up over and over. Like that's the other thing about these movies that I have to get out is like, I don't really care if it all makes sense. Like I've rewatched the Marvel movies, most of them. They're not perfect. Like there's things that don't make sense. There's things that obviously don't, like in Iron Man 1, there's no mention at all of Captain America.
Right.
Like he doesn't exist in that universe. But in Iron Man 2, there's the shield, and it's kind of like, hey, the shield parts are in here. Do you know what this is? And then in the Avengers, Tony Stark is talking about how his dad never shut up about how he worked on the Captain America project.
Yeah.
They're writing on the fly. It's not like they had this plan back when Iron Man 1 came out. But there's still nothing that breaks your continuity to the point of being like, I have no idea what's going on. Like those are small things you'd watch, like I said, having rewatched it all.
Yeah.
But I don't need a universe that does that. I don't need something that always makes sense if you're at least making good movies. And X-Men movies are not good. The DC movies are not good. It's just like you're not even making a good movie that could paper over the fact that you make no sense.
Yeah.
Like if you were bringing out an Avengers Infinity War, even if it didn't make any fucking sense, you'd be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like it just comes down to the core. Is it a good script? Is it a good movie? And if that doesn't even work, then how are you gonna piece them all together and make sure it's all consistent? It's just like just make sure, like you said, like you have to watch out and make sure there's other films in the series. But at the end of the day, just make it a good movie. Like I guess Aquaman is. Now, Aquaman is just a very basic superhero film, but it has done well. But at least that can live on its own now. It would have connected with Justice League, which it does. But I'm sure when they were filming Aquaman, they were probably thinking, "Oh, we've got to make this work for Justice League 2 because that will come out." But then that all went to shit. But at least Aquaman can live on its own now and do its own thing because it's a half decent film. Like if you start making like Suicide Squad, that was balls right from the start.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't even make sense. Like in the universe, whatever, there's a Joker. Is that the Batman's Joker? It's like, okay, Batman's in it. Batman punches Harley Quinn. Like, yeah, whatever. The film's still shit. Like the film on its own is shit. I don't care if it doesn't connect, or I don't care if the Flash is in a cameo. It's like, if the film is shit, it doesn't make a difference. Guardians of the Galaxy I watched last night. I'll go back to that. That film is a good film.
Yeah.
Now, in that film, you've got the very first Infinity Stone, and you've got Thanos, talking on screen, and as Josh Brolin is playing the role for the first time, and you can see how powerful this stone thing is. So it's getting tied into the bigger universe. But that works as a movie. The whole thing works as one movie from start to finish. You're introducing 5 brand new characters. They go on an adventure, and by the end of it, they're a family, and there you go.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch any Marvel movie before that or any Marvel movie after that, really, to sit down and watch Guardians go, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. And then you got like,
Yeah, but if DC could just do that, if they could just make a fucking movie that was good, then you'd be like, all right, fair enough. And like their two biggest ones are Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And they're not amazing. They're not blowing you out of the water, but that was a pun. They're definitely start to finish. This is the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas we go
It's
back
like
and we look at Justice League, it's like, holy fuck.
Well, that's I think a good example of that is Batman versus Superman, because the whole reason that film happened was because people wanted to see those two fight. No one even thought about the actual film. You know, they were just like, DC 100% were just making that because they were like, look at the logo that we can make. Look, what, everyone was talking about it, and then it was just like, it's Batman, he's fighting Superman, and then but no one on that team was actually, can we make this a good film, or can we, like, how do we actually piece this together? You know, that's
Let's
just, like,
get the
perfect
guy
example,
who fucked up Man of Steel. He'll definitely know what to do.
Just yeah, and you can tell they were so excited just to kind of have that deal signed. And I do remember when that logo kind of came out and it was confirmed. I'm like, fuck, that's big news, you know. But little did I know that was just the start of all the fuck ups.
Yeah,
nothing was planned there whatsoever.
and that's the problem. Like, I feel bad for these directors who go in there. David Ayer went in there, and the actors are going in and they're trying to do their best, and the guys who are writing the scripts are trying to fix it or trying to make it their best, and it's the studio just have no idea what they're doing, and you're just like, oh, make this one, make that one. And anybody who tries to come out and defend movies like Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad now, there's no defense you can have about those movies, because clearly nobody likes them. Not the people who went to see them, not the people who made them, and not the studio that are trying to make more of them, because they're like, all right, Ben Affleck, you're out. Henry Cavill, you're out. Wonder Woman, you get a new movie because you made us money. Harley Quinn, you get a movie because people like you, but we're also going to reboot the entire Suicide Squad movie because James Gunn's like good at making funny teen movies. You're like, oh my God, this is such a clusterfuck.
And you know what? It also affects the actors. Like, how does Margot Robbie like feel about this new Suicide Squad? You know, she's made her own film, and she's like, "Oh, this is great. What's it gonna kind of pair into and stuff?" And then suddenly, you know, while she's filming, she finds out, "Oh yeah, we're gonna, you know, someone's being cast for the Suicide Squad one, and there's gonna be a Joker here." And she's like, "Oh, is that the Joker that I'm gonna be working with?" No, you'll work with a different Joker. And then she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" You know, so it fucks with the actors as well.
Yeah, like if they're replacing Will Smith, but they're keeping her. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, it's confusing, that's for sure. But you know, it gives us something to talk about, that's for sure.
It's something to bitch about.
Yeah.
I'm never ever going to get a good fucking Superman movie in my lifetime, am I?
I feel bad for you, man. I feel like in another 20 years they'll give it another shot. Yeah. I don't know who it will be, but do you think we'll see another Superman, or do you think we'll see another Wolverine first?
Oh God, probably another Wolverine. No one's going to touch Superman with a fucking pole. He's diseased. He's leprous.
Yeah.
I like the Shazam movie. If you've been following that.
You know what? Mixed feelings about it, but I hope it does well. But yeah, you were saying that you kind of liked what was going on there.
I like the character, and the character's very fun, and he's not like the rest of the heroes, and there's no way you could kind of make him a DC, like the current DC versions of like, oh, everything's so terrible, oh my God, Martha.
True.
He's a 12-year-old kid who gets superpowers. He's just having fun with them.
Yeah. When is that out?
It's out next month, April 6th or something like that. Yeah, don't rely us. Okay. Don't rely on us for information, folks.
Oh, of course not. Well, I'll keep an eye on that one.
It's the Battle of the Captain Marvels for the hardcore comic fans, because Shazam's actual name is Captain Marvel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was originally called Captain Marvel, and then Marvel had a character called Captain Marvel, and then Miss Marvel, and then Captain Marvel, and then it just got so confusing. And unfortunately for Shazam, he wasn't well known enough or famous enough to sustain the character, so they kind of rebranded him a while back into the Shazam character.
Ah, cool.
But the problem with calling him Shazam is Shazam's his magic word. So when he says the word, he turns into the hero or he turns into the kid. So I don't think he can ever. That's why his name was Captain Marvel. Like he could introduce himself as Captain Marvel, but now he can't say what his actual hero name is.
Because then it'll just change.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
I wonder if they'll
Probably play with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny actually.
Maybe
I don't
they'll
know
just
the
short.
actor as well, but
The actor is oh crap, I can't remember his name. He's a good guy.
I recognize his face, but like he's not like super popular as far as
He was on TV. He was in fuck, I can't remember the name of the show. Like he was like an FBI agent, but it was a comedy thing where like he had all the FBI info in his head.
Oh, okay.
And then he Chuck, that was it. Yeah, his name was Chuck, and he
Oh, yes, I do know that one.
he got
I've
like
not
this.
seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, he got like this FBI database into his head, or CIA or something. So now he knew all these facts and he knew all these codes and everything, and they kind of had to bring him along and make him an agent because he knew so much. So it was this comedy thing of like this guy who just works at like a Best Buy is now also a super secret agent.
That is cool. I hope they pull it off. Like the trailer actually looks funny. I just wasn't sure if it was one of those everything that's funny is in the trailer.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna. The tone, I think that there's a comic book version of Shazam, which is very much like the tone they're going with, where he's an orphan, he gets put into a house with other orphans, and then that thing. Because the original story from the 30s is there's no way you can make that work because it's just too many, too many things taken for granted that wouldn't work in the real gritty world that they kind of like to paint nowadays.
Yeah.
Too cartoony. I'm trying to see who directed it. Oh yeah, that's the other weird thing about the director. His last movie was Annabelle Creation.
Oh, okay. Well, I've not heard of that.
So you know that Annabelle movie, the horror one with the doll?
Yep.
There's a prequel to that for how the doll became a demon.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. But he's not like he's like an indie director, so maybe he's going to be able to take it in his own direction.
Yeah, nice to have that. I mean, DC can't do anything worse, so
Look, there's nothing you can do worse than Martha, so just fucking go for it.
Yeah, I mean that Martha scene is it's probably been viewed more than any other movie just because of how bad it was and how surprising, I guess.
It makes sense. It makes sense because his name's Martha, and she really had an effect on him. So now that Superman has a mother too, it makes him realize, like, shut up. Doesn't work. It's like you're trying to explain a joke to me. If I don't laugh, it's not funny. It's not going to get funny because you explained the joke.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because that whole film is a joke.
Oh, yes.
What about Jesse Eisenberg? Remember he was at the end of bloody Justice League as bald Lex Luthor?
Oh, yes.
How does he feel after shaving his head for like 5 seconds?
They replaced him already.
I hope they did.
Yeah, I can't see them doing any more of him for sure. I think after Affleck and Cavill's gone, I think but then you've got Wonder Woman and Aquaman doing well, so they're going to have to go back to some kind of drawing board. But at least when you hire the actors, keep them around for longer than just one film.
Well, I guess if you're getting paid good money, you don't really care with DC.
Yep. And they do pay good money. They do spend a lot of money on their movies.
So much wasted money. Anyway, that's enough bitching about DC. We could go all day on them.
Oh yeah. Well, that kind of wraps up for the TVs and movies. Actually, I don't know if you've got other stuff there.
No. Like I said, I was just catching up on Marvel all this week, and we'll go see Captain Marvel during the week and Shazam.
Yeah.
I think Shazam comes out the week before Infinity War, so that's a bit of a statement.
Okay. that is. Well, you definitely want to get it in before at least. So, not after, because otherwise you got to stay clear of it for at least a month. So.
Oh yeah, it's coming out April 5th, and Endgame's out April 26th.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be a busy month because we've got the Game of Thrones as well. So,
yeah. A lot of good stuff coming down the pipe.
For sure. And then gaming-wise, there's a big conference on tomorrow, actually, in San Francisco called GDC. So next week we'll have a lot of news there. But just to... there's a couple of things that are going to happen, but the biggest thing, which I'll probably be talking next week about, is streaming. So Google are announcing a gaming streaming service. Steam have upped their one that they're doing, and then there's one other company that's doing streaming. But the big one is Google, and basically they're getting into the gaming industry, and they're going to have their own little controller as well. But the technology's got better and faster that you'll be able to stream games to your TV now. I don't think you'll be able to stream them in 4K, so we don't give a shit. But but to stream them at 1080p, just not own a console and not own the game. You can just choose from a library, and the library is probably going to be a bit more like Netflix. So you just kind of browse through. Oh, this has been added. I'll play some Battlefield. Click on it. Just pair your controller to the TV or the Chromecast, and then you can stream a game like super fast. So yeah, I think that's going to be some big news.
Have they got any exclusives? Like, are they kind of?
Rumor is that they've got just companies on board, so Ubisoft and a couple of other ones. So I think it's going to be more like, hey, you can stream all the Assassin's Creeds, and maybe they'll have some kind of deal where it comes there a week before or something, or
right.
But maybe they might go down that Netflix model where it's like, hey, $10, but you can play all the Assassin's Creeds and stuff like that. I don't know how they'll do it yet, but yeah, they're doing it, and then Steam are upping the way that they do their streaming as well. So they've fixed up theirs. And there's one other one, I can't remember who it is. Oh, it's Xbox. Sorry, my bad. It's Xbox. So they're going to do the same thing. And Xbox are kind of changing the way Sony battered them with their PS4. So the PS4 definitely beat the Xbox One. So the next generation consoles are going to come in the next few years. However, what Microsoft are trying to do, and they're doing a good job of it, is they just want Xbox games on every single platform. So they want to be able to play Halo on your phone, or Halo on a Nintendo Switch, or even Halo on a PlayStation.
Right.
So they're slowly going to release Xbox Live apps and stuff, and a streaming service for all of these consoles. So I think at GDC, or if not at E3 in June, we'll hear about their streaming service. But yeah, I think the big thing is they'll release it on Nintendo, and they'll even, if Sony allow it, they'll release it on PlayStation. So their thinking is, hey, everyone's just going to sign up to our kind of Netflix type service, and we'll just stream the game to you. So that if you own a PlayStation, you'd still be able to stream Halo. But streaming always comes with its disadvantages. It's it might be a little bit delayed, or it might be less resolution, but we'll see how good it is. Because there's always going to be a pro of actually owning a console. So yeah.
Yeah, in the long term, it's the best bet though, because eventually you're going to have 4K stream, and you're going to have it at a speed that's going to make sense.
Definitely. And then one other thing Xbox are doing, which I think might be this week, if not next month, is they're announcing an Xbox, but without a CD-ROM drive, so or a DVD or a HD drive. Oh. So that little box that you get, it's going to be a tiny little box, I think, and it's just going to stream. So it's the same thing, but maybe it might have some exclusive features to it because it's their own box. But again, they're going. It will be cheaper. I'm guessing it's going to be $199 or something, or $150. But you can't buy any CDs for it. But they've already shown from sales that EB Games, they must be shitting their pants because people aren't buying as many. They're not buying as many cases in the store. They're just buying it online. And I'd say 80% of my library is online, and 20% I've just got.
Yeah,
a box.
It's the Blockbuster situation again.
It 100% is. I don't I think 5 years, maybe 10, definitely 10 years. They won't be around. So
Yeah, I got to get up. I got to get dressed. I got to go out. It's raining. Got to get to the store. Got to pick up the game. I walked in
Yeah.
dog shit. Somebody spat on me. I got to get home. Got to wipe the spit off. Got to get undressed again. So it's a lot of
disc is
hassle.
broken. Yeah.
Disc is broken. Yeah, you get there. You're like, shit, this is version 2. I want version 3.
It's like, no, but you can trade them in. It's like you go back to trade in your brand new game. It's worth $3. You know, that's pretty much what happens. So, but yeah, good times. So anyway, that conference is on this week, and then there's also going to be some VR announcements. Like Oculus might announce their next headset, and a couple of other things. So
Nice.
Lots of exciting things on the horizon there, which we can chat about. And then
sure.
we'll try and get back into some tech ones as well. I know. I was quite fascinated by, unfortunately, it's a sad story, but the plane, the Boeing plane that went down,
Right.
and you know how they like grounded them. But the thing that kind of came to mind was Boeing said, "Oh, we'll install a new software update." That's what they said. And I
Really?
was like, the fucking plane went down, and you're just going to fix it with a software update. So, but it made me think like that is actually how they're going to fix it, because it is a computer issue apparently, but it's just the way that wasn't very press worthy, you know, like the way they said it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like you want to
That's
see
so
like,
crazy because it's
you want to
true.
see an
It's-
engineer. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, that kind of made me think like, oh yeah, it'll be good to kind of talk about tech again. And I know all the self-driving cars and Tesla and Boeing in his tunnels. Like I think the first one went live in LA to the Dodgers Stadium, but he's building one in Las Vegas now down the strip.
Huh.
So
Well,
yeah,
there's
lots
there
of
is
cool
a new
stuff.
Tesla out as well. New Model 3.
Yeah, and then he announced Tesla Y or something for next year or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like we'll kind of bring those little things back as well, and cut up these podcasts so they're a little bit shorter. But this one was a nice one. It's all Marvel with a peppered in DC ranting.
Can't get away from it. They just got to make a couple of great movies.
Yes.
They can make
As soon as they do
passable
that-
movies. Now they need to make great movies.
Yeah. Oh, the one thing, shout out to Aquaman just one more time, because they released their movies in IMAX quality, so you get a bigger screen.
Cool.
I wish more studios would do that, but yeah.
Hey, DC, I got something to say to you.
Shame.
Well played. In fact, we got to use that from now on whenever we like shame it.
Yeah, that's our new go-to. This week we're talking about DC. Shame.
Cool, man. Well, good to catch up, and we'll
2 in a
catch you
row.
guys-
Fucking
2
winning.
in a row. Exactly. That's going to be their hashtag there. 2 in a row. And if you guys have any questions, or you want us to talk about a particular topic, just let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Thanks everyone for listening.
All right. Cheers, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.